Welcome back to the Football Tragics. It's a miserable week for us four this week. Nobody won. Look, we're going to jump straight into it. The first two games of the round were United versus, who just played? Villa, and Chelsea versus City. Tony and I covered both those games post-match. So you haven't watched those yet, go check them out. However, we do need your two reactions. So, Morty, we'll start with you. That Chelsea game, what were your thoughts on it?
You look like he's had no plan B. Honestly, it just
didn't have a plan A either.
No, but you're playing with the same style, game in, game out, which is fine. A good team needs to be playing the same way, no matter who plays them. But there was no adapting there. There was nothing. Nothing changed. Nothing. I don't know. They were just lacking some sort of other creativity. Lukaku, kind of just shut out the game.
We only got one play style. I'd say we completely went against our play style that game. We've dominated games. We play teams off the park at times, but this game we just set up shop, parked the bus, and played for a 0 or draw and didn't go our way.
I think that's how you play every week. It's just that City holds the ball better.
I think it just shows City's bloody strong. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can agree. Tony and I agree that City's just unbelievable when they're on their day.
On their day, but they still worry me with the depth they've got. They don't throw it consistent, and that's why they haven't put it together when it comes to finals. They can put it across the season. They've got the money and the depth to pull off anything, but I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Campo, similar thoughts? Or
I said City don't have two bad games in a row, and they were just foot on the throat from minute 1 to minute 90. I think Chelsea saw how good that 3 defensive mids worked on Spurs, but City is a whole new freaking beast to Tottenham. We suck. They're great. And they just dominated that entire game. You were lucky it was only 1-0. It flattered you, really.
Well, it's funny because you actually beat City.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. It did flatter us. Tony, has your opinion changed at all? But probably not.
I mean, watching more of the game, he got more dominated than what I originally thought on that post reaction. So
it was bad. Look, my opinion hasn't really changed. Whatever I said on that night was pretty much the same thing. We got schooled off the park, and it was just night and day difference. Tony, we'll get into the Villa game. Obviously, we covered it early. Do you have anything? Have you cooled down a bit now, obviously, or you're still pretty tempted?
My comments on Fred getting as far away from that midfield as possible still stand, but I've calmed down a little bit.
Campo, thoughts on this one?
To be honest, I didn't watch it. I was too busy watching that Chelsea City game. It intrigued me more. But I gave my player of the week to Emi Martinez for his absolute shithousery on that penalty. That made my year so far. The Ronaldo take it, you take it. Got in Bruno's head, went into Rosed, and I don't know how the game went. I don't know if it's a fair result.
We played
had it on my phone, but I didn't really pay attention to it.
So what are your thoughts on the penalty situation now? Do you think Ronaldo's now number one? Or what do you think?
Are you asking me?
No, Campo. I know your reaction.
Oh, Ronaldo 1,000% takes him.
Morty, agree?
Filthy.
Nah, mate, give it to Maguire. He hasn't missed.
Oh, God. Overall thoughts on the game then, Morty?
Look, I only turned over once City scored, but from what I saw, or as I said last week, I think United they need to start playing wider. They need to. Yes, Ronaldo's going to be in the box, but he can't score when the rest of his team's about 3 foot behind him and trying to get in the box too. They just compress the defense, and every team's just going to come up against it. And Ronaldo will find a way, 9 times out of 10, but when they're not even providing 10 chances for him, it's a hard beat. So,
but how are they going to play wide when they got Pogba out left? What are your thoughts on that? Should they have started Sancho? What would you have done differently?
I don't know if they need to play him left or they just need to spread. They don't need to play wide both sides of the pitch all the time. I just think that they need to be pushing wider and coming off. Ronaldo probably doesn't need to stay right in the middle of the pitch like he's been doing. Maybe he drops across a bit and just lets, like Bruno and Pogba, they were doing fine creating through the middle. So if Ronaldo needs to just slide a little bit off, then maybe that's how they have to play. Like they're just getting used to each other. So
I think we just need to throw Fred in Campo's bin and move on with the rest of the season.
Oh, so someone else has made the bin apart from the Spurs player this week.
If we're looking forward to this, I think that bin's full, mate. There's any room left for Fred in there.
There's always room for Fred. All right, well, we're getting to the midnight kickoffs. That Leicester City versus Burnley game, absolute cracker. Vardy score on one end, own goal, and then goes and scores a double at the other end. Pure shithousery as usual, shushing the Burnley fans after they gave him stick for the own goal. I think Burnley had a good set of chances there, and they probably could have snuck away with a win. They had the Chris Wood goal disallowed offside right at the death, so 2-2 probably a fair result, but Burnley might feel they could have come out with a little bit more. Campo, what were your thoughts on this one?
I think it was a bit harsh for Burnley to lose that game with, they took it to Leicester. They were, they weren't just playing their absolute sit back, defend, 1-0 wins. You could actually see them trying to create chances that game. But again, Leicester, they're in the mud at the moment, like a lot of these teams. I don't see that spark. The Brendan Rodgers got booed when Maddison came on and when they took Lookman off, and I don't get that either. I just don't know where Leicester is sitting mentally right now. I'd be worried.
Tony?
It's only taken, 2.5 years, but Morty's comment on getting rid of Rodgers might finally come into play if they keep playing the way they're playing.
I can't wait for the week that happens.
I mean, Campo pretty much summed it up. I think this is a different Burnley to what we're used to seeing. They did take the game to Leicester. They led, but it just shows, Leicester might be, as Campo said, in the mud, but they've still got that energy and fight back to get back into the game. And who knows, a point against Burnley, it could be the difference between a Europa League spot, a Champions League spot come the end of the year.
Morty, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, we said at the start of the season, they beat Southampton. What was it? Not 7-8-0. What was last year? Something like that. And they signed their two defensive, signed their centre back and right back or left back, whatever he played, and obviously they're leaking goals. So,
well, the issue was obviously Wesley Fofana does his ACL pre-season.
Yeah.
Since Soyuncu got injured, then he comes in and he's now the leading defender, and then he gets injured, so I think he was definitely their spark defensively and really set up shop. But look, they've got the players to be winning games against Burnley, in my opinion. Yeah. But credit to Burnley, they dug deep.
I think Rodgers is just a bit stale. He gets a bit stale, like at clubs. He does. Like he didn't do wrong at Liverpool, but he sort of he tried one thing, it worked. Tried again the next season, didn't work, and he just kept trying beating the same hammer. So.
I think it shows the competitiveness of the EPL this season. There's a lot of teams. I was going to say A-League. I don't know why. Of the Premier League this season, like there's a lot of teams taking points off each other that maybe some you wouldn't expect. The only team, however, that's not taking points is Norwich. 2-0 defeat away at Everton. Just the same old Norwich. I can't say I obviously watched the game, but I watched the highlights back, and you see like one chance for them. That's it, and that's every single highlights package for every season. You see like one or two chances. A very depleted Everton side, and Everton still got the job done at home. Penalty spot for Townsend, and then Decore. He's having a good season, couple goals already. It's just Norwich, just doom and gloom. Morty, you got any hope for your second love, Norwich?
They fell away quite quickly. They're not my second love no more.
It's just Pookie.
Yeah.
Just Pookie.
He can't even do anything this season. And to be like that, Everton squad genuinely should be in the bin. Like really, like they don't have much in that squad. Without they're missing a lot of players. Like, I'm not saying they're terrible or anything, but to be losing 2-0 convincingly, like. If that was City against that Norwich, I can't wait for that game because the goal difference for City is just going through the roof. So,
Tony, thoughts on this one?
There's not much to say. I said it last week. I said it the week before. I think they break the record for the least amount of points. And, I mean, if an Everton side like that can beat you 2-0, it's a bit worrying.
Well, Norwich are away again this week, which we'll get into, obviously, against Burnley. But if Burnley play like they did against Leicester, they'll go and put 3 past Norwich. So I just don't know when Norwich's first points of the season are going to come from. It could be the most bizarre thing, and they'll come against a bloody Chelsea, I don't know, United. Like, it could come against someone big. But then, I don't know, they can't even pick up points against... Like, they got, what 1 point against Watford, or they lose against Watford?
They lost 3-1.
Exactly. So these are the games that they need to be getting 3 points against. And, yeah, the longer it goes on, that... I think the relegation's already set. I think they now need to worry about not getting that record of fewest points. Campo, do you think they can escape that record just, or...
I think it's going to be a long season. Like, we thought Sheffield, when they were doing that poorly, that they might take it. But it always seems they get like a draw or a win and they build some momentum on that. So it's still a long way to go before the record even gets talked about. But
yeah, but the way Sheffield, line up, they were able to, not get that record because they're very defensive. Norwich don't have that capability.
I just think it's one win against the Southampton that'll really kickstart their season.
Had to say Southampton.
Oh God!
But one player that looks really rejuvenated in that Everton team is Damari Gray. He has looked in form, amazing ever since he's moved there from Leicester.
Well, he had a stopover at Bayer Leverkusen in between, but he is going to work out to be one of the signings of the season, if not, because 1.5 million. I know I went on and on about it during our transfer wrap up, but that's unbelievable business from Benitez or backroom, whoever got it done. But that's unreal. He looks class, and yeah, they look good. And even Townsend, he's a little bit washed up, people would say, but he's having a great season as well. So Everton look decent this year. Again, they're getting it done without their main man up top. So, and they've got no James now. So credit to them. They're playing good and they're sitting decent. Leeds United versus West Ham. Leeds are in the mud this season, well and truly. Could have scrapped a point here, and they go and throw it away almost last kick of the game. Mikel Antonio returns from red card, gets a goal. Winner. Tony, what are your thoughts on this?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
Sorry, if there's one thing that can make a Manchester United fan happy after a loss to Aston Villa, it's seeing this Leeds United side go back into the relegation zone. And yeah, it's a tough one because if you look at the whole game, Antonio did nothing. He had his chances, but he was horrible. His touch was off. And even the goal he scored, if that was Lukaku, there's memes everywhere about how bad his first touch is. His first touch goes about 3 meters in front of him. Don't know what the centre-back for Leeds is doing, but hey, it put a smile on my face. Leeds back in the relegation. Antonio scoring for my fantasy team. Can't say much more than that.
Is Antonio, I think I mentioned it last week or the week before, is Antonio genuinely a golden boot threat? He's got 5 goals and 3 assists as well. Like he could genuinely, if he keeps this up, player of the year candidate.
I think when the season goes on, obviously, they've got Europe to deal with. I think he's going to be more, if they get to go further in that competition, you might see him playing more there rather than in the league if they're already safe. And as Antonio goes, he's due for an injury once a year. So we'll see how he goes.
Morty, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Leeds are just... They look diabolical at the moment. They don't even look like the creating leads that they did when they were attacking free flow, and they just looked horrid, and their defense is just as bad as it was when they're actually playing attacking football. So, yeah, it's going to be a long season for Leeds, and I don't see it turning around.
They can't genuinely go down again, could they? Like, they've got... The squad's too good to go down, is it not? Or could we see it happen?
Well, I'm pretty sure they're only fighting for 2 spots. Like Norwich have got 1 spot wrapped up, so maybe. I mean, Newcastle are pretty dire too, so we'll get into that. But just on Antonio, don't forget, he hasn't played anyone decent. Like, he missed the United game. He got sent off against Southampton, and I mean, Leicester have shown that they're in the mud too, so he hasn't really performed in front of anyone decent. So I wouldn't be throwing golden boots around just yet.
Okay, Campo?
For a 1-1, at the time it was 1-1, but I thought this was one of the best games I've watched all season.
Yeah.
It was end to end, chances galore. If it wasn't for both of those keepers, this could have been a 5-4. So many missed chances, so many good chances missed. But again, it's harsh on Leeds to lose it right at the end. But again, you got to take the chances you're given, and West Ham took the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
It was as you said, it was a bloody spectacle to watch. Rafinha, some player, he's unbelievable. But like you said there, if you're not taking chances, you get made to pay. Another team that doesn't take their chances, Newcastle, away at Watford, 1-1 draw. I thought Newcastle, this would be the game they'd turn around. And I don't mind Watford. I think they're a good little team. But Newcastle deserved a win here, and they almost came away with nothing if it wasn't for VAR. They've been on the bad end of VAR pretty much all season, but it continued. And I don't know, it's again a 2 points drop for Newcastle, I reckon. Campo, back to you straight away. What were your thoughts on this one?
I just thought it was a bit weird. Longstaff scored against anyone else but United. When I seen that absolutely worldy of a hit, even the keeper got a solid hand to it, just pushed it top corner. And then you just saw, more chances missed from Newcastle, and you just thought, Watford will score. They'll get one. They haven't put their chances to bed, and it's going to haunt them again. Off a corner, Sarr with a header.
Coast, yep.
And Newcastle will be kicking themselves.
Yeah, well, they had a ton of chances, Newcastle. Even right before the end, I think it was one of the maybe last 5 minutes or so, Jacob Murphy threw on goal, tries to chip Ben Foster and just fluffs it completely. I mean, if you're in form, I don't mind a chip. But if you're not scoring goals, you're not playing great football, just, I don't know, finesse it, side foot it, something, pass it in. Don't try to dink, a taller keeper. They got very lucky, I think, to even escape with a point off at the end, given their offside. 2 points drop. Tony, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was one of the more interesting endings to the game because after that chip, Watford went down the other way and almost scored the goal. So, listen, I think Newcastle's a team where you look at them, they're very, and it's not even attack heavy, but they've got St. Maxim up there who makes that attack so well. But if you look at their games, they're taking 15, 20 shots, but then they're conceding 15 shots. And if you don't take your chances and you're allowing 15 to 20 shots a game, one of them's going to go in. And again, 2 points dropped. And I think where they are and where Watford are, I think Watford will be the happier taking that point away.
Yeah, absolutely. Morty, do you agree?
Look, if Watford don't go down, it'll be down to one man, and that's Ismail Assar. He deserves a better club. He's going to carry that squad, and I don't know if it's going to be enough, but if he doesn't leave after they go down again,
well, he obviously he burst onto the scene a bit against you guys a few years ago, had a good championship again, and then he's already got 4 goals this season, 3 or 4 goals, so he's looked quality. I think they've got an all-round decent squad, but like you said, I don't know if it's enough to stay up, but if they're picking up enough points, I believe, at this time of the season to stay up, whereas Newcastle...
They're doing the right things.
So, another team that will obviously be wanting to stay up and looking like they should, Brentford, 3-3 against Liverpool. Morty, I'm going to go obviously straight back to you. What were your thoughts on this crazy game? Unbelievable.
This is like watching prime 2016 Liverpool end to end.
Well, you're back in the yellow kits, to be fair, so...
Yeah, it's about the last time we used one of these kits. And look, I don't want to take anything away from Brentford. Like, they played well, and they took it to us. Tony just, he did what he did. He bullied the hell out of Matt. Like, I'm not going to say it's an issue or whatever. Like, they were just, if that wasn't a Brentford home game, I think Paul would have taken that away 5-0. Like, Brentford, every goal they had was a scrap. It was there was fouls. We both ended up putting fouls in against each other, but they were, very physical, very, very demanding, and they were just bullying the hell out of us at the back. And Salah obviously missed the 1-on-1. Like, this game could have ended up, honestly, like 7-6. Like, there was chance after chance after chance, and one of our major issues was that they just kept attacking Trent. Like, they had 4 of them going at Trent at all game, but not once did Matip pull over. Not once did Henderson drop in. Henderson was still playing centre back. Like, no one came to help him at all. Not saying Trent could have, Trent still wasn't great, but no one came out to help him. All the players are out there. They're all standing there holding each other's hand in the middle. And then they get out jumped by Tony anyway. So, yeah, it was a great game. It's just very frustrating.
Look, given the table, this point takes you top of the league. However, I think this was one of the worst defensive performances from Liverpool in a long, long time. I'm seeing everybody saying Andy Robertson should be getting benched now for Tsimikas. Like, this is a player who should have been, is probably one of the best left backs in the country, if not the world. People are saying Trent's obviously usual business. He's not getting help, and he's not the best defender. Van Dijk wasn't even playing well. 2 or 3 of Brentford's goals were very scrappy. That third one, for example, was nightmare Liverpool defence. And look, yeah, a draw is probably, I don't think Brentford deserved to win per se, but if you go and perform like that again against City this week, given the way City are playing right now, you will concede 5.
It's a bit tough to say. Like, there's a very different game. Brentford came with their game plan. They executed it to a T. I think the way that they came up to us, fair play to them, they did well, but Liverpool will learn from that and move on. I mean, Robbo had a shocker. There's no hiding that one. Trent
Should he start next week?
No, you can't take Robbo. Tsimikas has been great, but again, he's been great going forward. He hasn't really had anyone attack him. Like, if you throw him against City, he'll get bullied to all hell. But yeah, I think Matip probably, I don't know. I don't know what they do. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow morning, and we'll go from there. But I don't like Matip. Even when he cleared that ball off the line, he looked like he was a fish out of water. He almost fell over himself. I was shitting myself. So that's tough. I can't talk about it anymore.
Tony, what were your thoughts on this one?
Can we just take note of how nice Morty is to his defenders when they have a bad game, but when Maguire has a bad game, he gets called every name. Just remember this next time Maguire has a bad game.
They paid how much for him? Our whole defence is not even worth Maguire.
How much did you pay for Van Dijk?
75.
Okay, so that's about Maguire, and he had an absolute shocker. So why aren't we talking about Van Dijk right now?
Because the bloke's put enough decent performances, you can let him have a day off, and we still, we still had a draw. I ain't losing nothing.
I didn't see him carry Netherlands to a final, but that's all right. We'll go on with that. All right, with the game, yeah, I think I read a comment I think earlier today, and it pretty much said Tony is going to be imprinted in Van Dijk's mind and Robertson's mind, and just because of how much pressure he put on that back line, and I think it's a tale of the game. Liverpool probably went there expecting, as we all did, expecting to get the 3 points, and Brentford didn't stop for 90 minutes. And yeah, I mean, when I woke up in the morning and I saw that result, I was like, man, I'm going to watch 25-minute highlights, not the 3-minute highlights, because I want to see what happened here. And you know what? I'll give it to Morty. The defense sometimes is going to have a bad game, and that was one of them. And I think we can all be happy it was against Brentford, because I mean, I want them to stay up, so I think we can all be happy.
Campo, do you want Brentford to stay out? What were your thoughts?
You can't hate on a team that comes up from the Championship, their first season back, and they're taking it to the big boys. Again, Morty said all Brentford's goals were pretty scrappy, but Liverpool scored a deflection offside, which VAR saved them again. I'm saying last year, if VAR's not there, Salah's goal doesn't count.
VAR was there last year.
No, I didn't mean last year.
It's been there the whole time, mate.
I'm saying that every single goal in that game was garbage.
It surprised me that the linesman put his flag up for Salah's goal. Usually it's the other way around. They don't put their flag up. Yeah.
But
that's his 100th goal, was it, for Liverpool? Fastest ever.
Yep.
One ahead of, can't remember the guy's name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything more to add, Campo?
No, I don't like talking about Liverpool.
All right, what about your other favourite team, Southampton? 1-0 defeat to Wolves. We all said it. Would give them a bit more credit this week if they came out and pulled a result. You specifically said, I'll give them credit if they pull a result. They didn't do that. What were your thoughts on it?
Raul Jimenez back to his best. Again, that's the problem with Southampton. They have all the possession. They play nice football. But again, they lost their best striker, and they lost centre backs, and it's hard to replace those. And it showed again; they're not taking their chances, and they're conceding goals.
Yeah, as you said, Jimenez finally got in the score sheet. 10 months ago, he suffered a obviously bad head injury. First goal back, looked confident with his feet, obviously. But yeah, he probably could have had a second as well. At the end, he hesitated a bit, could have passed it to Traore. Probably would have missed it anyway, Traore, so good option. Yeah, looked good. Southampton had a decent amount of chances, just couldn't finish them off. And again, it's one of those games where they need to pick up points, I think, at home against a struggling Wolves. But it's a good result for Wolves. Tony, what are your thoughts?
Muted.
I'm muting in.
It's having a shocker, Tony.
These stupid headphones keep muting it for some reason whenever they die on batteries. I wrote it in the inbox at one stage, and I said, how are Saints not winning this game? They were all over them. They had possession. They had the shots. They had the chances, and they get into the box, and they look like a local under six side trying to finish the ball and put it in the back of the net. I don't think you can look at this game. I don't know if you boys watched it, if you watched the highlights, but looking at this game as a neutral, they don't deserve the points from this game. Southampton deserve the 3 points, but they took their chance. They scored it, and Southampton's in a bit of a hole at the moment when it comes to results.
I know it's a little early. It's 6 games in. However, there's 5 teams on 0 wins. Southampton are one of those teams. Are they genuinely a relegation threat? I know it's early. I know I started giving them the credit last week, especially after they picked up results against United and City, but wins matter.
I mean, I'm still going to give them a lot of credit. They're playing good football. Yes, the results haven't come, but when you're playing good football, the same thing we've seen with Arsenal, which will obviously be the next game we talk about, they weren't getting the results, but when they did finally click and they did get a result, they're going to go on with it. And I think if you look at Southampton compared to Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, and Norwich, I'm saying Southampton playing the best football out of all of those.
Morty, agree?
I don't know. I don't think so. I gave them hope. I tipped them to win. They didn't. I mean, they should have, but at the end of the day, 1-0, it happens, and yeah, I don't think Wolves will go on with that either, though. I don't think they didn't look like they played a good enough football to take confidence out of that into next week, so they won't be looking forward. And Southampton, there's only so many games you can get up and just continue on without a win, as you said. So they'll be scrapping for something.
All right, Campo, you were spot on the money when you said that the away team in the North London derby doesn't win. Got it right.
Rarely happens.
Unfortunately for you, it was Arsenal 3-1 over Tottenham. Give us the rundown.
If you sign players in the off season, would you play them?
Ideally.
Where the fuck are they? Not one single person we brought in did not start that game. Instead, we played the exact same team that we had on the pitch last year that were not good enough. The exact same team. Dele Alli, again, just gets caught out of position, too far up the pitch. Højbjerg, I understand now why they play Fred and McTominay, because one's useless without the other.
You can have Fred. He's yours. I'll go sign him now for you. Like, done.
I'll give you Dele. I don't care. As soon as you're seen in the second half, Skip goes in there next to Højbjerg. The team's different. There's more balance, and Ndombele doesn't have to track back as much. We can play attacking football. But the fact is, Nuno had an absolute shocker with the team selection. Played Dele Alli, who is about 5 years past it, and Ndombele, who's just doesn't want to defend. You're playing Jaffet, who's a centre back out right back when, again, we have Emerson, who likes to bomb up that field and attack, which you saw in the second half. Just so many things that could have gone wrong, went wrong in that first half. And Nuno, he should have hooked Dele after 8 minutes. But the fact is he kept him on, and we paid the price for it.
I don't think you can take any credit away from Arsenal. They looked really good. They were obviously, what that final goal came was trying his best to defend and got to be unlucky with it and almost gifted him the goal. But Arsenal looked good. They clicked. It's what they've been trying to do all season, but haven't been able to finish. And they finally put it together. They slacked off a little bit towards the end of the game when it was already wrapped up. But look, a couple of player of the weeks out of this. I've gone with Auba. Morty went with Smith Rowe. So it was a great game for Arsenal. And like you said, the away team rarely wins these ones.
And I think it was just...
No, sorry, go
the
on.
chances we had in the second half, that could have finished 3-3. But again, Kane isn't in form at the moment, missed a great chance. Lucas got very unlucky with his shot. Ramsdale, just tipped it onto the bar. Another day, those could go in. And, it's 3-3, and we're all laughing at how Arsenal bottled it. But it just shouldn't take Nuno 45 minutes to realise his mistakes. That is a fucking terrible manager if it's taking him that long.
Are you Nuno out?
Oh, fucking oath. Get him out of my club now. Fuck that prick off.
Were we praising him after the first 3 weeks when they're top of the league?
Again,
you loved him.
When he was winning, it was just, plastering over those cracks, 3-1-0 wins in a row. And now you actually see it wasn't always going to win 1-0. You concede one goal, you drop your head. He's just got nothing about him.
So Arsenal are now back above you since the beginning when they were only above you on alphabetical order. So, Tony, are Arsenal back to winning ways? Are they back in form? What are your thoughts? Do you think Spurs were just not good enough?
Oh, I think Spurs are just in a bit of a hole at the moment. They started the season, like we said, it was only 1-0 wins, but the defence looked solid. They played as a team. They defended as a team, where now it's like Campo's already said Delhi got pulled out of position. A few other players got pulled out of position. And honestly, it's looking terrible. But I won't say much more about it. But we did have a little comment here from Baxter. You on the last pod said that Arsenal were a crumb team and they were never going to win. So he just kind of wants to know if you're going to take that back and how you feel about that, Campo.
They're still fucking garbage at the end of the day. Again, you put any other team to verse them that day, they win. They're just going to be competing with us for mid-table this year. Don't get your hopes up. And we'll see you when it's our turn to win at our home ground.
There's one more I want to show you, purely because of who it is. But this one's from someone you care about. Not real nice, Campo. Jazzy wants to know why Spurs are so bad.
Answer the question.
We're just bad because we're bad.
Morty,
we got players that have played there 5 years too long.
Morty has Campo summed it up well enough.
No, because he still modes Arsenal with a bias of hate. Look, there's some agreements in Arsenal can't get complacent with this win because Spurs were bad on their day. And at the end of the day, Arsenal played good football for 45 minutes, 50 minutes. But as they said, Campo said, Spurs started to wind up and come back after that. So Arsenal need to look at it and go, okay, we play well 50 minutes. How are we going to play for 90 minutes now? They've got to keep it up and continue on for that whole match. But they genuinely created good chances. They weren't, half-half, maybe Spurs, lapse and whatever. They put good ball through. They're playing good football. They played to their strengths, and they were doing pretty well. Just keep Lacquer out of that squad and don't put him on the pitch. And I saw a stat as well. They, I think they're in the top 10 teams, or one of the youngest squads in all top five leagues around the world. So that looks like the only way could be up for Arsenal if they continue along this path. But I think they just need to tone it down with their expectations after some of those post-match interviews. They've got a bit excited, but
yeah, I mean that's what North London derby does to you. But yeah, look, I don't think any Arsenal fan will be Arteta out right now. Look, what was it, 3 wins on the trot now? They can't complain too much. But like you all say, I don't think they can get complacent because end of the day, Spurs were bad, as we've stated many, many times now. And again, the other teams they've played, they got wiped off the park against Chelsea, City. They scraped a couple wins against average teams. So yeah. Moving on. Final game of the rounds. Brighton could have gone top with this win. They didn't get it. They got a 95th minute equaliser. 1-1 draw. Tony, what were your thoughts on this one? I thought Palace looked good.
I think Palace was good. I think this shows that, Brighton are playing good football, but they're not going to be able to keep it up for the whole year, let's be honest. They had a game that, like we said, they could have been top. Yeah, it's only for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, but it would have been big for them. But then again, Zaha scored a penalty. He's looking like he's back to his best football. Then we flip to the other side, and Morpie looks like he's back to his best football. He's scoring goals. He looks like he's enjoying himself, and it shows that they might not finish in that top 4, top 6, top 8, whatever it is, but they've got heart and they're going to fight to the final whistle. And that's what some of those bottom teams can learn from. Fight to the whistle, and who knows, these points could save you.
Yeah, exactly. They did fight to the whistle because it was literally like the last kick of the game. Palace on the other end of that final chance, like that Brighton goal is ridiculous. They've hoofed it forward. The centre-back somehow first touched it back over the top of them. That's just, they obviously got caught lacking. And as you said, Morpay scored. But yeah, Zaha's looking good. Conor Gallagher looks great. They've got a decent little squad there, and I think they can put together possibly a top half finish, very possibly. But they'll have to see how the season pans out. But they look all right. Brighton, as you said, I think they can stay. They can stay out there for forever. But it would have been big for them to go top. It would be big for them to continue a decent little bit of form for a few weeks now. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they both move forward. Campo, what were your thoughts on it?
Welbeck missed an absolute great chance that game. It could have easily finished 2-1 to Brighton. I think it's rough to say that they can't. They're not going to stay top 4. That's a given, but they could be that surprise team that fight for Europe. I think it's a bit rough to say that they can't fight. Stay up towards the top with, an attacking manager and players that want to play for the club. It's always a good recipe for success. So I think they might be a smoky to actually do very well this season.
Morty, can you round us out?
It was a great match. I mean, they're both looking like top 10 squads. So it'd be interesting to see. They've already got some points off some other teams in and around that. They still Palace have played obviously Chelsea and they got dominated, but Brighton still haven't played anyone of note. So we'll have to see how they go. But they keep playing the way they're going. They'll be doing all right. Doing better than Spurs.
Not hard to.
Well, that's all we got time for. We're going to wrap this one up and be straight back into a Matchday 7 preview. So we'll see you in a bit.
Peace.
Peace.